I used to believe I wasn't enough. Not loud, dramatic belief, but just this quiet, constant hum underneath everything I did. It was relentless. And unless you start taking control of your thoughts and your mind, it can cause havoc in every area of your life. And here's the thing that nobody tells you. You are enough isn't necessarily a compliment. It's not something somebody says to you to make you feel better. It's a fact your nervous system doesn't believe yet. And until it does, you'll keep chasing proof you'll never find. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why that belief got installed in you, why no amount of achievement has fixed it, and the one shift that actually rewires it, not just repeats it. And this leads me on to the first point. You were never born feeling not enough. Think about it. Nobody's born believing they're unworthy. A newborn doesn't compare itself to another baby or compare itself to anyone else. They don't wonder if they're successful enough or whether they're attractive enough, smart enough. They simply just exist. So somewhere along the way, someone's opinion, someone's rejection, somebody's criticism, or maybe just life's disappointments became who you are. And that's where most people get trapped in their lives. They mistake experiences for evidence. Think about it. If your business fails, you don't say the business failed. You more than likely say, I'm a failure. If a relationship ends, you don't think that relationship wasn't right. Instead, you think, especially if they ended it, I'm not lovable. I will never find love again. What's wrong with me? So do you see what happened? An event became a personal perception of yourself, an identity, which is often false. And identities are incredibly powerful because your brain will constantly search for evidence to prove them true, even if in reality they're false. It's like having the lens of your camera set to the wrong aperture. If your lens isn't set to the right setting, everything looks all out of whack. It looks blurry. The reality out there, your external reality isn't wrong, it just is. It's your perception of what you see through your own lens. And the same thing happens when you believe you're not enough. Every setback, every criticism, every mistake becomes more proof. You become a slave to your subjective views of your own personal reality based on your false perceptions. Have you ever met someone who seemed to have everything? And this is a category a lot of wealthy superstars or rock musicians or whatever, movie stars fall into. Those who seem to have it all. They have it all, but they feel empty. They have the money, the success, the recognition, the great family, yet inside they still feel like they were missing something. So why is that? Well, it's because achievement can never fix an identity problem. And just remember that the lower your judgment and shame about yourself, the lower that level is, the higher your self-esteem is. And that leads me on to topic 2. You can't outperform a story you secretly believe. This is where most people spend decades stuck, or even the whole lifetime stuck. They think, if I can just achieve one more thing, make an extra $10 million or get 10 more cars or whatever, then I'll finally feel enough. But here's the truth. Your mind doesn't reward achievement. It protects your personal blueprint. So if deep down you believe you're not worthy, your brain will always find a way to return you to that familiar feeling and sabotage you. It's almost like a thermostat. Imagine your house is set to 20 degrees. You can light a fire, open the windows, buy the most expensive heater on the market. But eventually the thermostat pulls everything back to its setting. And your self-worth or identity works the exact same way. If your internal setting says, I'm not enough, even if you are super successful materially, then every success feels temporary. Every compliment feels uncomfortable. Every win gets dismissed. You say things like, I just got lucky, or it wasn't that impressive. Anyone could have done it. Because accepting your success would force you to question who you truly are. And your brain hates uncertainty. And I know this personally. There are plenty of times in my life where I believe that if I could just earn more money, be liked by more people, fit in with the right people, drive a better car, live in a better house, build something bigger, look more toned at the gym, then I'd finally feel complete. But every goal I reached simply moved the finish line further away. And it wasn't because the goals were wrong. There's nothing wrong with having your own goals, but it was because I was asking achievement to solve something only my internal identity could. And maybe you've done exactly the same. Maybe you've spent years trying to become enough instead of realizing you already are. And this usually stems from trying to prove to someone that you are worthy, and usually it's a parent. But I'll talk about that in another video. So let me ask you something. If someone you truly loved made a mistake today, someone you truly loved, would you suddenly decide they had no value? They weren't worthy of anything? Well, of course not. But then why do you do that to yourself? And that leads me on to point 3. Stop trying to become enough and start living like you already are. And this is the shift that changes everything. You don't become enough someday. You begin acting from the belief that you already are enough. And there's a huge difference. One mindset says, I'll speak up when I'm more confident. The other says, I'll speak up because my voice already matters. One says, I'll go after my dream once I'm ready. The other says, I'll become ready by taking action. One waits for confidence. The other creates confidence. Imagine a tree. Does a tree wake up every morning wondering if it's worthy of growing? Stupid question, I know. But no, it doesn't. It simply grows because that's its nature. It doesn't compare itself to the tree next door or down the road. It doesn't apologize for taking up space. It doesn't earn permission to become what it was designed to become. And neither should you. And this doesn't mean you'll never improve yourself. Growth is important. Growth is important to a tree. Discipline is important. Becoming stronger matters. But there's a massive difference between growing because you love yourself and growing because you're trying to fix yourself. One comes from freedom, the other comes from fear. And fear never leads to peace. And here's something I want you to remember. Your value has never been determined by your bank account, your relationship status, your career, your mistakes, or what anyone else thinks about you. Those things can change overnight. But your worth doesn't. Because worth isn't something you earn, it's something you recognize. And the moment you stop trying to prove yourself, you finally become free to become yourself. There is no day where someone hands you a certificate saying, congratulations, you're finally enough. That just isn't going to exist. You'll never get it because you already were. You just forgot. And if this message connected with you, I want you to do one simple thing today. And I did this the other day from a book I was reading. Write these 4 words somewhere. You'll see them every morning. I am already enough. Write it down. Write it down in your diary. Write it down on your calendar. I've written it down on my calendar just as a reminder, and I read it every day, every morning. We humans are so hard on ourselves due to societal conditioning. Does any other animal on this planet think that they aren't enough? It's programmed in us. And if you're serious about rebuilding your identity from the inside out, instead of spending another decade chasing external validation, I'd love to help you. So please leave a comment on why you are enough below. I'd love to hear from you. I'll read all the comments. Join my free 5-day identity transformation challenge as well. Just click on the link on the pinned comment below and book it in. And remember, you are never missing anything. You are simply believing a story that was never true. I'll see you in the next video, or you can watch my next video here. Peace out. See you soon.